You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how this company operates. I want to get excited. I really do. I want to get excited. In fact, I actually tweeted out tonight that I love the opening to Smackdown Live. I thought the open to Smackdown Live and what they did with Kevin Owens was fucking great shit. It was great. I loved it. Though it wasn't as organic and it wasn't as natural as a CM Punk pipe bomb. But Kevin Owens delivered a pipe bomb of his own tonight and literally cut a promo in the same vein of what I've been doing for the last 18 to 24 months. You could go back even longer, but I'm trying to stick within the realm of how terrible WWE TV has been present day. He cut an off-the-script-like promo. I wanted to get excited about it, but then again, in the first 5 minutes of the show, Shane McMahon was littered all throughout not only the 5 minutes of this show, but the entirety of this episode. And Shane McMahon was in the main part of what Kevin Owens was talking about. The entire promo was based around Shane McMahon. So even though I loved Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is great in that role, he's a great promo, I gotta come down off my excitement and really look at it for what it really is. And I hope you guys do the same thing. It's Kevin Owens cutting a great fucking promo, but at the same time, it's still more TV time for Shane McMahon. And everything that they did in the beginning of that hot open to SmackDown Live was pretty much shit on at the end of the show. Because Kevin Owens came back out after being kicked out of the arena for his actions, came back into the arena, gave Shane McMahon a stunner, ran right back into the crowd, and my excitement levels went right back down to zero. Where I'm expecting your excitement levels to be at as well. Because in the end, it only means more Shane McMahon on our televisions, folks. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about how WWE just loves to mock what they know they're doing is fucked up. They know what they're doing is just blatant bad television. They make note of it in a promo, and then they refuse to change what the problem really is to fix the shows. So, Kevin Owens' venom here is the problem, which we all know is the problem on current WWE TV, Shane McMahon, but it only leads to more Shane McMahon on television. There's bringing the truth and bringing what we feel as far as real emotion to television and then fixing it. Then there's bringing that real life emotion and what the fans are really feeling just to simply mock them and not change it. That's what WWE is doing with this entire Kevin Owens situation. We're going to talk about it right here on the podcast. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on SmackDown Live. This is Off the Script. We got a lot to go over today. That, Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens, we're going to dive deeper into that. We got Aleister Black finally has an opponent. Finally, the mystery man who knocked on his door and wanted Aleister Black to come out of the closet is revealed tonight on SmackDown Live. Thank God, because if they did go and bait and switch us, I don't think I would have been excited about it as much as I was tonight if they did it at the pay-per-view. So we'll go over that. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And all of the Extreme Rules hype right here on Off the Script. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to join and become a member of the channel, you guys can simply do that as well. It's right next to the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys don't want to be a member of the YouTube channel, you guys can become a member of JD's Elite on patreon.com/JD from NY206. It's completely optional, and it's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and NXT. Yes, you guys get them on YouTube every single week, but my patrons get them in audio format every single week, and that is not available anywhere else. So you could take me on the go and not use your bandwidth. It's a great deal right there. Plus, you get off the script early every single weekend if you guys are really into what I do with Off the Script come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys missed anything that I did this past weekend leading on into this week, it's been a busy week already, and it's only Tuesday. It's going to be a very busy week in general, with this weekend being the busiest weekend I think I've had since WrestleMania weekend. Off the Script, we talked about Roman Reigns saying AEW is not competition. That was on Saturday. On Friday, we talked about Paul Heyman and the influence that everybody thought was there, but really wasn't. We go over that on Friday. Great open to Friday show. Sunday, we give you the real reason why Bayley and Sasha Banks did not win, or did not retain, I should say. They did win, but they did not retain. The real reason why WWE took the women's tag team titles off of Sasha Banks and Bayley at WrestleMania, and it came courtesy of the Bella Twins podcast. Another great open on Sunday's show. Go and check all that stuff out. Monday Night Raw review. I gotta apologize to everybody waiting on early Monday morning for it. It didn't get uploaded till about 10:30 a.m. this morning on Tuesday. A certain website gave me a certain yellow icon all throughout the evening. They refused to turn that yellow icon into a green icon. Absolutely no reason why the Monday Night Raw review had a yellow icon next to it all day up until about 6 p.m. So I lost out on a good 25,000 views, which you guys couldn't wait to hear my Raw review. I lost out on a good 25,000 views for the Raw review, but now all is good. Of course it is. And if you guys missed my Monday Night Raw review and you were wondering where it was, it's live on the channel. Go and check that out. Also, today was the very first day in a very long time, probably since I started the channel, that I triple uploaded. We got Raw, and then at 5 p.m. tonight, we got a Slammiversary edition of Off the Script, where I go over Impact Wrestling Slammiversary. Go and check that out. I give my thoughts on Sami Callihan and Tessa Blanchard if you guys are interested or curious into what I thought about that, and SmackDown Live tonight. So we triple uploaded today, folks. That is a first since the very early days of the channel. So if you missed all that stuff, go and check it out. Link will be right in the top right corner of the screen. Drop that eye down. Everything you need will be right there, and please hit that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Podcast tonight's brought to you by Audible. Our fine friends over at Audible have been with me for over 3 years, and they want to say thank you for listening to Off the Script by giving you a free audio book and 30 days free of Audible service. Yes, audibletrial.com/offthescript is your way to getting Audible for 30 days free and one free audio book of your choice. JD, I love shit for free. What do I got to do? Well, Senor Goon, Mr. Clown, who loved Monday Night Raw last week and I didn't hear from you this week. The hate was a lot less this week. I wonder why. Pick up your phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android device. You're going to go to your store, download the Audible app for free. Great start. Then you're going to use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript. You're going to go through the sign-up process. You will not be billed at all. And then you got 30 days free of their service. As a thank you for signing up, Audible's going to give you a free audiobook of your choice. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, and a lot of that is sports and wrestling related. Just like you see there, you guys can have anything you want, so make it count. If you guys have already signed up, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker, tell a classmate, tell your buddy at the gym. Doesn't matter. Give the gift of Audible if you guys have already redeemed your free audio book. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. And if you guys sign up and you feel like Audible's not for you and you simply want to support the podcast by signing up, you don't even have to stay with Audible. You can cancel in the 30-day free trial period and still get to keep your audiobook for free. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. I thank Audible for being with me here on the podcast. I thank you guys for supporting me and the podcast and Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Now, I wouldn't call it fresh. I wouldn't call it new. WWE's not breaking any boundaries here. They're not reinventing the wheel as far as starting a wrestling show off in the manner in which they did tonight. But I loved the open to SmackDown Live because we have been programmed to watch a certain way WWE operates and to see them deviate away from the norm, which is usually a 20-minute segment on a 2-hour show that takes time away from the in-ring action. That is just very ordinary. The interview takes place in the ring. 2 guys come out, then another 2 guys come out, and then we end up with a 6-man tag in the main event. It's all a bunch of nonsense. It's a circus. So when I seen SmackDown Live tonight, I was kind of not blown away, but I was like, this is interesting. This is certainly a different way to open the show. Then I seen Dolph Ziggler, and then I rolled my eyes in the back of my head further than The Undertaker does. But then all of a sudden, Kevin Owens, which I thought was a Mustang, pulled up in a Dodge Charger, same color as my Mustang, pulled up in a Dodge Charger, and he starts honking the horn as Kayla Braxton is interviewing Dolph Ziggler about what happened last week with his quote-unquote tag team partner, Kevin Owens. Ziggler went into the whole spiel about how Kevin Owens was not his tag team partner. He is not friends with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens pulls up in this Dodge Charger, and he starts honking the horn, interrupting the entire interview with Dolph Ziggler and Kayla Braxton. Then Kevin Owens gets out of the car. He arrived at the arena. He goes into the trunk to take his bags, and they start yelling at each other, which erupted into a huge parking lot brawl that resulted in Kevin Owens bleeding from the mouth. Shane McMahon, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, the Singh brothers, and a bunch of other jobbers in catering that weren't really ready to sit down and feast yet. They all came and broke this thing up. Shane McMahon told Kevin Owens to get in his car, go take a breather, go home, you got the night off. Kevin Owens didn't want to hear anything about it. Dolph Ziggler was allowed into the building, which scares me because now we have a tease of Shane McMahon and Dolph Ziggler on top of Shane, Drew McIntyre, Elias, and everything that he's got going on. The revival. We don't need Dolph Ziggler to be thrusted into this program to maintain his stance on WWE TV. That would be just completely overkill. Can you imagine Dolph Ziggler getting all this TV time on SmackDown Live and then having to be featured on Monday Night Raw back-to-back nights during the week? I don't think my heart can really handle it. I don't think my eyes want to see that sight on WWE television. That in itself makes me want to fucking quit watching altogether. Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, Elias have taken up the majority of television on Monday and Tuesday nights. They are a good 30% of this show on Monday and Tuesday nights. Add Dolph Ziggler into that, folks. That's a recipe for disaster. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So we go to the ordinary Tom Phillips introduction. Very bland and boring. And then all of a sudden, Kevin Owens storms to the ring with a microphone. And he immediately got my attention. As soon as he started yelling, I'm like, okay, this is different. What's going on here? You got my attention. Now all you have to do is sell me on what you want to do here. I love Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens is heavily underutilized. I think Kevin Owens should be at the top of the card in a meaningful way. It's been a long time since he's had anything of importance to do. This could be WWE finally putting Kevin Owens in a direction coming out of WrestleMania he didn't have. So we get Kevin Owens in the arena on SmackDown Live, takes the microphone, and this was great. It wasn't CM Punk-like. CM Punk was just very natural and organic, and I could see everything that he said legitimately coming from that man's soul. Kevin Owens, we all know, is not CM Punk. He can cut a damn good promo. Don't get me wrong. But this is not to be compared to CM Punk, which I seen on social media when I tweeted during SmackDown Live. Please do not. Do not compare it. It's not the same. It's not even in the same fucking ballpark. Okay? So we got Phillips introducing the show. And then Kevin Owens barged his way to the ringside area with a microphone and went off on Shane McMahon. He yelled that he's tired of being a company guy. Kind of odd. Kevin Owens has really never been portrayed as a company guy. Well, maybe when he won the Universal title and Triple H helped him win the Universal Championship. But ever since then, I don't really think he's a company guy per se on television. Maybe he means in other ways, but we don't see those other ways. Kevin Owens is not what I look at as being a company guy. So he said he's tired of being a company guy, and he's done with it. He said he heard the McMahons say they were going to listen to the fans and give them what they want. He mentioned the promo back in December when the McMahons, and I don't want to lump Triple H into this, but he was there too, when the McMahons came to Monday Night Raw willingly admitting that the shows have been fucking terrible and that we have the power and change is coming. We never seen change. In fact, the shows got worse. The shows got worse to a point where I think WWE was producing the worst quality of television I have ever seen in all the years I've been watching WWE programming. They came out on Monday Night Raw and blatantly lied and mocked everybody watching and paying their good money to sit there live in the arena. They mocked you. They made fun of you. They blatantly lied to you, making you think that change was coming and no change was ever seen at all. He mentioned this promo, which I'm glad that he did, because it's WWE harping back on what they did and what they did wrong. And they're using what transpired in the past to build a storyline, whatever that may be, at this present time. He said he heard the McMahons say that they were going to listen to the fans and give them what they want, but since then, Shane McMahon has gotten more TV time and more power, and nobody wants that. Kevin Owens says it makes him sick every time he hears Shane McMahon say he is the best in the world. Shane walked out to the stage and said that's enough. He called for Kevin Owens' mic to be cut off. His microphone was cut off. Kevin Owens went to the timekeeper's area and got another microphone and said, "We got more than one mic, dummy. You can't cut me off." I loved it. I laughed out loud. So Kevin Owens grabbed this other microphone. He began talking. And we had him continuing to say he's sick every time he hears Shane McMahon call himself the best in the world. And he mentioned Shane McMahon can kiss my ass. Because he said, Kevin Owens did, that every time Shane McMahon says he's the best in the world, all the wrestlers in the back are thinking the same thing, and that is Shane McMahon can kiss my ass. Shane then had his second microphone cut off. So Kevin Owens had two microphones cut off. So Kevin Owens, instead of grabbing another microphone, he grabbed Tom Phillips' headset and started speaking into the extension on Tom Phillips' headset. He yelled into the headset and said Shane has taken TV time away from Apollo Crews, Liv Morgan, Buddy Murphy, Ali, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and AOP. All of these names were mentioned on live WWE television. Yes, they are still employed. Shane sent out security to the ring. Kevin Owens then ran through the crowd. Shane then yelled, "Make sure he stays out of the building." Shane McMahon was also seen while all this was going on by the sound guy, and he was lowering Kevin Owens' microphone, or he was the one who cut Kevin Owens' microphone off the first and second times, which added a nice little attention to detail. I like to see who's in control of that shit, just not someone in the back, you know, from the production truck. I like that guy was visibly there to cut when Shane said cut. This got me excited. I mentioned before, it's not as organic as a CM Punk pipe bomb that we seen in Las Vegas several years ago. And it was completely different and unexpected from Kevin Owens. It was unexpected from WWE on this night, 6 days before Extreme Rules. But it does raise some red flags. I love the fact that Kevin Owens came out, and I love the fact that WWE is admitting that they're fucking up by mentioning Buddy Murphy, Liv Morgan, Apollo Crews, who's been seen, but seen as a loser. Crews, Morgan, Buddy Murphy, Ali, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and AOP, Akam and Razor. I love the fact that WWE is mentioning these names and the fact they have not been on SmackDown Live or Monday Night Raw or WWE TV, period, since WrestleMania. But what does it really mean? It's like WWE is letting you know, yeah, we're fucking up, but we're not going to do anything to rectify that. And we're going to use these names and personalities as fuel in this programmed and scripted promo. This worked shoot promo by Kevin Owens, and we're not going to do anything about it. It does raise red flags, absolutely. I love the execution of it, but what does it really mean? I don't know why anybody's going to be overly excited. I was, and then we seen Shane McMahon in another 5 segments tonight on SmackDown Live, and then I pieced everything together. This does not mean anything else but Shane McMahon moving on after Extreme Rules from Roman Reigns. That's all that means. I don't know why anybody would get excited about this. They gave you a little tease. They made you get excited just for a little bit, which we all want to do so badly. We all want to see this show blossom into what we know it could really be. Look at the talent that they're not using on this show. Aleister Black has not been used in 2.5 months. Crews, Morgan has not had a match since WrestleMania. Buddy Murphy moved to SmackDown Live from 205 Live, has yet to debut on SmackDown Live. Ali, I don't know whether he's Batman or a professional wrestler. Asuka and Kairi Sane, I don't know where they are. They were shown tonight, but they haven't been in a wrestling ring on live television. AOP, Triple H built them as monsters, and Vince McMahon makes them look like losers. Where are they? How do you have this amount of talent, and you're willingly admitting that they haven't been on TV? You're willingly admitting that you're fucking up. But what does it really mean? You're using all of them to get your narrative across, and the narrative is, underneath all of this shit that we want to be so excited about, the narrative underneath all of it is more Shane McMahon on our televisions. Because what is Shane McMahon going to do when Roman Reigns and The Undertaker finally get revenge on him at Extreme Rules? What does it mean? It's an Extreme Rules tag team match. No disqualifications. The blow-off. There's nothing more for Shane McMahon to do. He's weaseled and vilified everybody else on the roster to fit his own narrative and agenda. There's nothing more for him to do. Unless he beats Roman Reigns and The Undertaker and then books himself in a WWE title match at SummerSlam, which I don't think my heart is ready for either. I don't think anybody alive, breathing, I don't think any human being walking this planet is ready for that. But what does it mean? It's the blow-off. Shane McMahon clearly is going to need something else to do on television. They're not going to willingly take Shane McMahon off of television now, right? This is WWE we're talking about. I would. I wish Bischoff would, as soon as he steps foot in his new role, but that's not going to be done. I don't think Bischoff or Heyman are going to be able to wield that type of power. This is nothing more than WWE pushing their own narrative to keep Shane McMahon on television. Shane McMahon needs something to do going into the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, folks. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, again, this time with the roles reversed. Kevin Owens is the babyface and Shane McMahon is the heel, whereas Shane McMahon was the babyface and Kevin Owens was the heel at WrestleMania. Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens, and the seeds for that have been planted for SummerSlam. All while WWE is mocking you in plain sight. They're laughing at you. They're admitting that the shows are absolutely terrible with Shane McMahon in his role, that they're underutilizing talent, they're neglecting talent, all for the sake of keeping Shane McMahon on television. What does it really mean? You get excited for a good couple of minutes and then you realize, oh, this is just meaning Shane McMahon, more Shane McMahon on television. WWE let us all down tonight. Don't fall for it, please. Don't fall for the garbage. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things. I don't know why we need Shane McMahon on television. I don't know why Kevin Owens couldn't do this and aim his problems and concerns with the entire McMahon family. And not just Shane McMahon. I don't understand it. Where WWE should be booking Shane to be off television, they're planting seeds to continue to book more Shane McMahon on television. I don't get it. I really don't understand it. And all of this, everything I mentioned here, just became blatantly obvious at the end of the show. Because Kevin Owens had one job to do. They clearly took him out of the feud with Dolph Ziggler for now. And they're planting seeds for Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. Because Kevin Owens didn't target Dolph Ziggler. He targeted Shane McMahon in the end of that match. There you go. In fact, I won't be surprised if we see Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens team up on SmackDown Live next week. Which would go right back to typical WWE. I wanted to get excited. It felt different in a sense that it's different for WWE. It's different than what we're normally used to seeing. But in the end, it's always the same shit. In the end, it's always the same fucking shit. I want to be excited about it, but WWE always has you on a short leash. Don't get too excited. We're gonna continue the garbage like we usually do on Tuesday nights. And continue the garbage they did, folks. Continue the garbage they did. Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Two guys that desperately needed a win here. Finn Balor hasn't been on TV since Super Showdown. Finn Balor had a match here and there after WrestleMania against a Sami Zayn. I don't even remember who else he fought. If he fought anybody else after Sami Zayn. I know Sami Zayn came back that first night, fought Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship because why not? Come back after 9 months? Yeah, you get an Intercontinental Championship match. That's typical WWE protocol. Finn Balor and the IC title have been absolutely dwindled down to nothing. He's on TV. Shinsuke Nakamura, I want to be excited about Nakamura. I can't because of how WWE has treated him. The man has had a miserable run on the main roster. A run that should have resulted in at least one WWE Championship as a babyface. The man has one of the greatest debuts that this company has ever seen in one of the best matches that the company has ever put on with Sami Zayn at TakeOver Dallas during WrestleMania 32 weekend. And he hasn't done anything. Absolutely nothing. Floundered in a feud with AJ Styles. They absolutely buried that shit to a point where nobody was excited about it. Then they keep him off television. They give him a run at the U.S. title. Then he teams with Rusev and then is promptly taken off television. So what is Shinsuke Nakamura to everybody watching this show? Nobody. He's just like everybody else, and it should not be the case. He should be leagues above everybody else. He should be in the upper echelon of talent on SmackDown Live. Why would you book this match on SmackDown Live only to do it again at the pay-per-view, which we all know that they're going to do based on the result of tonight's show? Both of these guys needed wins. If this was your direction and you had 3 weeks to build Extreme Rules, why didn't we get Nakamura on TV getting a win in every single week leading up to the pay-per-view? So at least I wouldn't be so upset over the fact that he is now the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. At least then it would have made a little bit of sense. What if Finn Balor came back to television and won some of his matches for the last 3 weeks, making that title look like, oh, look, they're bringing back some spotlight to the Intercontinental Championship. They kept both guys off TV, and WWE decides to put two guys who have been completely irrelevant without a win in a very long time in a match together, and then they proceed to have the champion lose in a non-title match. Shinsuke Nakamura beats Finn Balor tonight in what I thought was a decent match. I enjoyed it. I loved the ending of the match where Nakamura wanted to win by any means necessary because he just couldn't put away Finn Balor. He was looking desperately for a countout. And Nakamura ends up winning with a Kinshasa in the end. And now, I don't think they really mentioned it unless I was zoning in and out, Shinsuke Nakamura is now the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. The number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship is someone that's been off TV since WrestleMania. Hasn't had a match at all. Hasn't garnered a win for himself on TV. And he beats the champion and is the Intercontinental Champion now, challenger at Extreme Rules. We need to move away from this, Vince. Eric, if somebody's fucking listening to me, if Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are taking over Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, I swear on my fucking grandfather's tomb, if I was these guys, any one of them, on either of these shows, wins need to matter. I don't want thrown together matches at a pay-per-view for the simple fact of first time ever on SmackDown Live. Had the first time ever match tonight, and we're going to see it again 6 days later. It lost all of its importance once Shinsuke Nakamura won this match after being off TV for nearly 3 months. I don't care. I don't care. And this is how easy some of you are to please on social media. Oh, I enjoyed the match. I understand where you're coming from. Granted, they said they understand where I'm coming from. But these guys have been missing from TV so much that the outcome of the match is something I don't really care about. That lackadaisical response and that lackadaisical feel towards what you're seeing here is exactly what WWE is looking for. That's why they continue to do the illogical. You can't do that. Wins need to matter. This match could have been something great, and WWE, just like everything else, makes it very blah. Just like Ricochet and AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw. A match I mentioned everyone and their fucking mother should be excited for. I can't believe I said it last night. I am very bored by Ricochet and AJ Styles already, being that we've seen it twice on Monday Night Raw. WWE needs to change the way they go about booking championship matches. Wins need to matter. Please. Nakamura wins with the Kinshasa. I love the ending of this match. Nakamura hit Balor with the Kinshasa at ringside on the outside. Balor was nearly counted out. Nakamura threw Balor into the ringside barricade, into the ring post, into the steel steps. He wanted to get a count out by any means necessary. He knew that he couldn't pin him because Balor was just coming back for more. So Balor beat the count out. Nakamura landed a Kinshasa in the win for his number one contendership, I'm assuming, at Extreme Rules. There you go. No more, no less. I love the fact that Nakamura kept throwing Finn Balor out of the ring when Balor beats 2 10 counts. And he ended up hitting him with the Kinshasa anyway to get the win on TV clean. So, I don't know what this means. After all the complaining I did about the typical, does this mean Nakamura is going to get more of a focus on TV? Is he going to be a priority in the Bischoff era? Are we going to see more Finn Balor on TV? Time will tell. But given WWE's track record, they're probably doing this because they need a marquee match on the card that they really didn't have any time to properly build. That's all I see out of Nakamura and Finn Balor. But hopefully, these guys get TV time and are focused on going into the Bischoff era of SmackDown Live. Backstage, the ratings killers. This is what they should call them. Shane McMahon, Drew McIntyre, and Elias were chatting. Drew said Cedric is going to get exactly what he's got coming to him from trying to put one over on them. So I'm assuming we're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Cedric Alexander in a burial on Monday Night Raw. Great to be Cedric, huh? Comes from 205 Live and gets put in a janitor costume underneath the mask and then gets properly buried again by Shane McMahon and company. He said they still won despite his attempts to cheat. He said they have the clear physical and mental advantage over Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. Elias says he's been working on the perfect funeral song for The Undertaker. Shane then asked if it was spooky and scary. No, the only thing that's spooky and scary is Monday Night Raw for 3 hours on Monday night. Actually, what's also spooky and scary is the fact that Elias has still not shown me anything in the 3 years he's been on the main roster. The guy has absolutely just stood in mediocrity. He sits in the puddle of mediocrity, yet he's somehow over with some of these people on social media. I don't understand it. I'm completely over the gimmick, and Elias. In walks Dolph Ziggler, who told Shane what he did outside in the parking lot with Kevin Owens was bogus. So Shane then said, you should use that energy against a new main event opponent tonight. Roman Reigns. Ziggler says, I like that. The crowd didn't seem to care. Neither did I. Not a fucking peep out of the crowd. Shane then said they will all be there with him at ringside. When Shane looked at Drew and said, he's good, Drew shrugged his shoulder and said, yeah, he's all right. Yeah, the same guy that he said was all right tonight was the same guy in Dolph Ziggler, in which he walked away from in a brutal steel cage match towards the end of 2018. Do you guys remember that? Apparently WWE doesn't. We're right back to what we're doing at the end of the year with Dolph Ziggler, folks. Ziggler was with McIntyre. They broke them up. McIntyre went with Corbin and whomever else, Lashley and whatever, against Braun Strowman. But Drew McIntyre had a steel cage match with Dolph Ziggler. Either WWE thinks we don't remember, or WWE simply just forgot. And they don't remember themselves. But I remember. Dolph Ziggler was in a steel cage match. I remember his face being in between the ropes and the steel cage. And Drew McIntyre delivering not one, but two claymores to take out Dolph Ziggler, and then he goes bye-bye. Maybe he should have added a third, a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth claymore, and maybe Dolph Ziggler would have been out a little bit longer, instead of coming back to TV 6 months too early. It's too late, folks. I don't understand what's going on here, but to add Dolph Ziggler into this trio of ratings killers is not really what I call quality television. Nobody wants to see this. And by the crowd reaction tonight, nobody fucking cared. You know, WWE has had some doozies as far as main events on these TV shows. Case in point, Monday Night Raw. That was the main event on Monday Night Raw last night. A fucking quote-unquote janitor and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. You know, sometimes WWE gives you the impression of, please don't watch me in the main event. This is the epitome of please don't watch me. Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon booking Dolph Ziggler and Roman Reigns in the main event of SmackDown Live. Has there ever been more of a please don't watch me main event than that? I know I didn't. As soon as Roman Reigns' name was announced and attached to the main event, I stopped watching. I just don't care. I really don't. Samoa Joe had a promo, and he said he offered Kofi clemency. You don't really hear that word thrown around in a promo. In a show of compassion. But he didn't take the option of safety. He said he knew he wouldn't take it because he is everything he said he was. He said he sees the hustle behind what Kofi Kingston is doing and see who he truly really is. He said at Extreme Rules, he'll tear away the last shred of the lie he clothes himself in, and he'll beat him down to the bare essence of what he really is. He said he will then put him to sleep. He said he will take back everything he has taken from those whose backs he walked on to get to the top. Most importantly, I will take the WWE Championship. I will believe it when I see it. There are reports going around that Kofi Kingston was given some time off to recuperate from some minor nagging injuries. I see people already, this could be good for Joe. He could be on his way to a first WWE Championship. No, folks. No, folks. You don't build a WWE Championship match in 3 weeks and then have someone like Samoa Joe take the title in 3 weeks. It hasn't been done before. It's not going to be done now. Joe talks a big game. He throws big words around. He sounds great. He looks great. He's the quintessential heel that we all love. But in the end, he's nothing more than a loser. And like I mentioned, he is the new, or he is the old rather. The new Bray Wyatt has not been showcased in many weeks now. He is the old Bray Wyatt, where Bray Wyatt has a new face and a new persona. Samoa Joe might as well be that old Bray Wyatt. Give him the top hat, give him the rocking chair, give him the southern Louisiana accent, give him a swamp to sit in. Samoa Joe is the old Bray Wyatt, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing he says, though it sounds great, and this was a great promo, and I hope the match is great on Sunday, I just don't believe Samoa Joe is going to do anything as far as winning the WWE Championship. I'll believe it when I see it. Just like when Paul Heyman said Brock Lesnar's going to cash in on Sunday, either against Kofi or Seth Rollins. I'll believe it when I see it. Nikki Cross was introduced by Kayla Braxton. Cross came out. Phillips said the women's title is going to have a contract signing. And I mentioned on social media, I am tired of seeing this. I am tired of seeing Nikki Cross and Bayley on Monday and then on Tuesday. Why couldn't this happen on Monday? You needed a beat the clock challenge, which is one of the worst gimmicks that WWE has in their bag of tricks. You needed a beat the clock challenge to give me the stipulation of a handicap match for the women's SmackDown title. I find that to be very counterproductive, WWE. I don't know why we had to go through what we did last night to get a simple stipulation of a handicap match. You couldn't just book it to be a handicap match? I don't understand that. Why couldn't we see this contract signing last night is what I'm trying to explain to you. Instead of getting worthless matches last night that have no meaning or story behind them. There's no story there that I could invest myself in. The whole gimmick is who could beat who the fastest. This is not a race. Wrestling is not a race. So I hate the beat the clock gimmick. So Nikki Cross is here with the contract signing. Out comes Bayley. They showed highlights of last night on Monday Night Raw. Bayley sat down and told Nikki not to worry. She's just there to sign the contract. She said she's very sorry to see that Alexa Bliss decided not to show up again. Folks, I was contacted by a source. My source is very legit. If you believe what I say here on this channel and you believe in the product that I give you every week, my source is more than likely 100% correct. There's no reason for me not to believe him. He has the in. I heard today that, take it with a grain of salt, that Alexa Bliss is going around saying that she's ill and she is out with an illness, whatever the illness is, we don't really know. Hasn't been reported at all. All she did was mention something on Twitter. She's been showcased in 60-second matches, 5-second matches with Carmella. Wasn't on Raw. Wasn't on SmackDown for the contract signing, and she's somehow in the championship match. And she's in a handicap match on Sunday, which I would not be surprised Nikki Cross wrestles 98% of it. You may get a tag with Alexa Bliss doing whatever. It's not going to really take any bumps, but Nikki Cross is in this match to protect Alexa Bliss. Not just in storyline, but legitimately as well. So, whatever Alexa Bliss is tweeting out on social media, please take that with a grain of salt. I don't really think she's ill, hurt. I don't need anybody to fucking come to me and tell me information about Alexa Bliss. I can make my own assumptions with my own eyes. The woman sucks. The woman is the very essence of what is wrong with women's wrestling. She's complete garbage. She gets a title match for doing nothing. She is in the ring and she really doesn't do anything at all. She is the opposite of what a pro wrestler should be. Yet everybody hangs from her fucking tits. The reason she was out was for concussions. Folks, she was out because of plastic surgery. If you believe anything that the woman or the reports said about Alexa Bliss, oh, she was out because there's concussion symptoms and WWE is afraid. Please. She got a nice boob job or some sort of enhancements. Give me a break. Anyway, Bayley's out there. Of course, she poked fun at Alexa Bliss for not being there. It's what she does best. She gets, and she doesn't do anything to deserve what she gets. Bayley told Nikki that they're a lot alike because she was starstruck and easily manipulated when she made the main roster. But she soon realized they only cared about her when they needed something. She said she learned real quick and became a champion on her own. And I find it very odd that they do all this running around and no mention of Sasha Banks. Maybe Sasha Banks shows up on Sunday night. I don't know. I hope not. I hope the woman stays out. But from what I read today, which, is kind of legit, I guess, Sasha Banks is in Japan training with Meiko Satomura, and it's being reported that she's training for her imminent WWE return, which could happen as soon as Sunday. But all this running around to not mention anything about Sasha Banks, yet Sasha Banks and Bayley were pretty much handcuffed, tied to the wrist in everything that they did on these shows, pretty much for the majority of their main roster run. So Bayley told Nikki to listen to herself because Bliss is in her head and has her doing her own dirty work every single night. Nikki insisted Bliss knows she can defend herself. Bayley asked Nikki if she is really okay with helping somebody else win a championship. Logic. Why would you be okay with just handing over a title match to someone else when you won it for them? It just sounds silly. It makes Nikki Cross look like a blithering idiot. Bayley said on Sunday she is facing impossible odds, and Nikki is formidable on her own. She said she is bringing everything she has. What happens when Alexa loses and she blames you? Bayley asked. Nikki said she wants to help her friend, which Bayley wouldn't understand because all of her friends have abandoned her. Get a nice little poke at Sasha Banks without directly mentioning Sasha Banks. Now, Sasha could easily show up just based off that one line there, and it would make sense for her to return, but I don't want her to return in that manner. I don't want her to return and have anything to do with Bayley. Bayley's on SmackDown. Sasha is affiliated with Monday Night Raw. Sasha and Becky is where you need to go for SummerSlam. Fuck Bayley. Bayley's on her own. Bayley is doing this on her own. She doesn't need Sasha. She clearly showed everybody she doesn't need Sasha. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. Sasha and Becky is your money match at SummerSlam. Becky's a babyface. Sasha needs to come back as a heel. And Becky needs someone who is a major heel who plays the legit heel role to feed off of. No more of these green fucking Lacey Evans types. We don't need that shit. Because it's ruining Becky Lynch in the process. That's another story, though. Nikki said Alexa isn't using her. She said Bliss said they would become the first ever women's SmackDown co-champions. So now we're going with the whole premise of if Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss win, they're going to be co-women's champions. Just that in itself. That in itself. I could clearly see Alexa Bliss doing that in real life. But just based off that alone, you can smell the turn coming immediately. You know where this is going. So don't be surprised. This all led to a Nikki Cross and Carmella match. This one ended in 3 minutes because that's where the women matches end up. It's either 3 minutes or 90 seconds. It hasn't gone over 3 minutes on SmackDown Live in God knows how long. That's the time limit for women's matches on this show. Nikki wins. Neck breaker for the win. Who cares? The Iconics were leaving their locker room. Paige, Asuka, and Kairi Sane have been found. They made it back from Japan safely. And Paige says she wants their title match tonight. I'm like, yes. Get the fucking titles off of the moronics. Someone in my comment section on Monday Night Raw, I don't know who you are, but I love you. I love the comment. JD, you'll thank me later. They are the psychotics. I like it. So we got the moronics, the idiotics, and the psychotics. Awesome. Awesome. Paige says she wants their title match tonight. Peyton Royce said Billie Kay was sick. Paige says they're annoying, and they've been so annoying since they won the tag team title. Yeah, they've been annoying and completely cringe and untalented. Haven't defended those titles in how many weeks? Yeah, Rey Mysterio had to give up his fucking title, only to come back 6 weeks later. Have we gotten a title defense from the Iconics? I can't remember. If I can't remember anything to do with the tag team championships in what they've done, then maybe they don't deserve to be tag team champions. What a fucking notion that was, huh? I blew your mind. Anyway. Billie Kay was sick, says Peyton Royce. So, Paige looked great tonight. Paige looked great tonight. She sounded great, too. She was very, she was just on point. She said they're overrated, underwhelming, shrill, cowardly, annoying little clowns. Is Paige monitoring my social media? That's something I'd tell one of these cretins on Twitter. When Billy Kay got in Paige's face, Paige slapped Billy Kay. Paige says that the match may not be tonight, but it's coming, so get ready. Awesome. Moving on here, folks. We got the New Day. They make their entrance, and they're in the ring. A lot of sexual innuendos here by the New Day, which is nothing out of the ordinary. Xavier said on Sunday they have a triple threat tag team match for the titles. Big E said, "This isn't what I had in mind when I was told I would be in a three-way this weekend." I think Xavier Woods knows a little thing about three-ways. Maybe we should go call up Mr. Maddox. I'm not talking about Greg. Anyway, I love Greg Maddox, man. My favorite pitcher of all time. So, this Sunday, all three of us, Big E, Xavier, and Kofi, they will be able to touch our championship tips together. Another sexual innuendo. I guess WWE is really reaching for that PG limit. You know? They're pushing it to the boundaries here. They were interrupted by Daniel Bryan and Rowan. I love Daniel Bryan. I love him so much. I think he's great. Bryan took jabs at the New Day for making jokes about three-ways and tips. He says they're not taking this championship match seriously, and people wonder why. He said even when the New Day are champions, nobody takes them seriously. I do. I know they're great wrestlers, but there is a lot of clowning around. And I don't want any clowning around. I want legit competition for the titles. Any title, just not the tag team titles. Any title. Xavier says Bryan talks too much without actually saying anything. He then said he wants to hear what Big Red Rowan has to say. He said Rowan was the first to take orders from Bray, then Luke Harper. Luke Harper was mentioned on SmackDown Live, folks. You didn't have to fucking clean your ears out for that one. This was legit. Luke Harper was mentioned on SmackDown Live. Bray, Harper, and then Bryan. He says they have trouble keeping track of who his daddy is. So obviously the fans chanted, "Who's your daddy?" You people are simply just so amused at the easiest things, at the littlest things. Bryan told Rowan that these are ignorant people following an ignorant lead. Bryan said New Day deflect true criticism with humor and jokes, which is true. He said New Day are some of the best athletes in the WWE, which is true. And they've had some of the best tag team matches in WWE history, which I don't want to say is true, but I also don't want to say it's not true. I guess with the Usos, maybe. But I don't really... Maybe the Wyatts, maybe Harper and Rowan. I don't know. But the Usos definitely. Those are the only two that are coming to my mind right now. But they can't escape the middle of the card and are seen as nothing more than a comedy act. Which is true. Said the only thing worse than New Day winning the titles would be those buffoons, Heavy Machinery. So Heavy Machinery, obviously, with the mention, come out. Tucker says at Stomping Grounds, in their first WWE pay-per-view and first WWE Smackdown Tag Team title match, they took Bryan and Rowan to the limit. Otis says they're blue color solid, which if you didn't know, is what they do because they say it. It's on the back of their jackets, and they have a patch that says blue collar solid, and it's on their t-shirts. So WWE really wanting to push this narrative of Heavy Machinery being blue collar solid. I love the stakes and weights thing, but it seems like WWE got rid of that for Otis and Tucker being blue collar solid and Otis thrusting on TV. Whatever. Otis did his thrust and said they're going to become the new WWE Smackdown Tag Team Champions. Tucker says they'll show the world there's no party like a blue-collar party. Otis says that's Sunday, but first things first, and that's tonight with Woods and Bryan. I was actually looking forward to this. Bryan, Otis, and Xavier Woods in a triple threat match. Before we get into that, guys, I got to shout out my other sponsor, Harry's. Harry's.com/script for your free trial. Make sure you guys go and get your $13 value trial sets. Use our unique link, harrys.com/script. What you guys are going to get just for signing up. You're going to get a razor handle. Choice of color is yours. The navy blue, the orange, and the evergreen. You're You're gonna get a travel blade cover with that as well if you're a man on the go or if you travel for work. It's gonna keep your razor cool and dry. You guys are gonna get a generous 2-ounce bottle of their shave gel and a free razor blade as well. That's gonna give you a close, comfortable shave. All this could be yours by using harrys.com/script. So we got the triple threat match with Bryan, Otis, and Xavier Woods. I enjoyed this. I think Heavy Machinery is great. I mentioned this before. I'm glad that Heavy Machinery is actually getting some time on SmackDown Live, and they're being given a legit push. I could do with the comedy, because I think they're genuinely funny, and it comes off as that. They're genuinely funny. Xavier Woods and Big E, I think we're all used to the New Day doing their shtick. I could do without the pancakes for Kofi, but that's another story. And Bryan and Rowan, I think, are great. One too many losses for them as champions, but they are great nonetheless, and Bryan is a fantastic promo. Everything he says is legit. I don't mind the comedy, but it's got to come in small doses. If you're going to feature tag team wrestling on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, I want it to be based off competition and who's the best, and I want it to be based on who wants the championship most. The championships should always take front and center when it comes to these teams vying for the tag team championships in the division. I could do with the comedy, but you got to do it in the right way, and you got to do it not all the time, but every now and then with the tag team championships and the in-ring competition. As far as tag team wrestling goes, taking front and center, please. Otherwise, I thought this was great. Otis wins here. Bryan leapt off the ring apron and hit Otis with a flying knee. Xavier then started celebrating from behind. And after everyone got some shit in, because everybody had to get their shit in because there was just nothing but chaos on the outside, Otis finished Xavier with a lift and a big power slam. And that was it. It was an entertaining segment, and I'm looking forward to the triple threat match at Extreme Rules. Heavy Machinery and Bryan Rowan was one of the best matches of the night on Stomping Ground. Add the New Day into that, I think all three of these teams could realistically steal the show on Sunday night in Philadelphia at Extreme Rules. Ember Moon was filmed in catering. I kid you not. So make of that what you will. Ember Moon was in catering. Mandy Rose and Sonya approached Ember Moon in catering. Said, this isn't Twitter. This is real life. Ember Moon says that what she said about them was true. DeVille said that Rose losing to her last week brought them closer, which I guess is why we've seen some tease of some lesbian action. Rose challenged Moon to find a tag team partner, and they'll face her and her partner next week. Wow, I can't wait not to watch. Awesome. Moon says if she can't find a partner, she'll wrestle them on her own. See another vignette with Ali. Apparently he is now Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman all mixed into one. Talking about running, or he doesn't run from evil because evil only wins when the good stand by and do nothing. Is he talking about fighting crime? Is he talking about watching Monday Night Raw on Monday night? Because I know evil dwells every Monday on the USA Network. Is that the evil Ali is talking about? I don't know. But I know the evil wins on Monday night because I stand by and do nothing. I can't stand it. He said evil takes on many shapes, and he's seen all of them and fought through all of the evil. He said he saw it as a police officer working the midnight shift. He says he's seen it, and he's seen evil amongst those sworn to protect and serve. He said there is no monster who can scare him, and a giant he can stand tall against, and no evil he will not battle. He said evil only wins when you don't show up to fight. I want you to fight, man. Get in the ring and enough of this garbage, please. I don't know. Maybe they should just change his name to Bruce Wayne. Maybe Ali is going to come out as Bruce Wayne and be a multi-billionaire who owns most of Gotham City. This is ridiculous. Whatever they're doing here is ridiculous. I understand giving him a fucking gimmick and something to really kind of stamp his name to, but how many people are buying this? How many people at this point just don't care? I just want to see him in the ring. I don't know why they're trying so hard for someone who is so simple to build. The guy had everything going for him until he got hurt. Underdog babyface comes back and overcomes all the odds. If that is what this is going to lead into, fine. But I have no idea where this is going. And a lot of people, from what I can tell on social media, are kind of over this battling evil and helping the good. Come on. Get this guy in the ring. This guy is too valuable to be sitting on the sidelines or in some dark corner somewhere waiting for some fucking old lady to be robbed of her fucking milk money. Come on. We got Aleister Black sitting in his split screen, dressed really nice in a black suit. Black on black on black is Aleister Black. In the other screen sat an empty chair. Now, there were rumors going around that Cesaro and Randy Orton were a couple of guys that were being mentioned as Aleister Black's first opponent. In fact, Aleister Black was working with Randy Orton on the house shows before it was rumored that Randy Orton has neck issues. So they did some of those matches on the house show circuit with Aleister Black getting the win. Then it was rumored that Cesaro would be the first to challenge Aleister Black at Extreme Rules. We've seen someone in a white suit walk into the frame around the chair. I didn't think he was going to reveal himself, and WWE was on their way to baiting and switching us after an advertised Aleister Black announcement of who he's going to fight at Extreme Rules. I'm glad they didn't. I honestly thought it was Randy Orton at first, because I looked at the hand that looked like Randy Orton. And then he sat down, and it was revealed to be Cesaro as Aleister Black's first opponent. This is going to be great. This is a great first opponent. Everybody that steps into the ring with Cesaro owns that ring. He is a great first opponent, and I'm glad that they revealed this now, because if this was to be revealed on Sunday, I think it would kind of be a letdown. So the simple fact that it was Cesaro here, the right decision was made to announce him on SmackDown Live. I guess they pretty much had to, no matter who it was, because this has been ongoing for 2.5 months. If they didn't do it, I think people would be pissed. They pretty much owed it to the fans to announce this guy tonight. And I'm glad they announced it tonight, because like I said, if Cesaro waited till Sunday to come out, I honestly think it would have been a little bit underwhelming. Now, if it was Randy Orton who was walking around the chair and didn't reveal himself, and then he came out on Sunday, I think that would be a big deal. But the fact that it was Cesaro, it would have been a little bit underwhelming, and the fact that they got it out of the way tonight makes me excited to see that match on Sunday night. Suddenly, we see him sit down. Cesaro pulls out his mouthpiece. Cesaro took the mouth guard out of his mouth and said, "Aleister Black, I am the one who knocked at your door. I'm the one here to pick a fight with you." Black smiled and shook his head, "Yes. Oh, so good, Mr. Cesaro. I will see you on Sunday, and I will fight you on Sunday." And then he winked to the camera. He got up and walked away. Cesaro stood there, put the mouthpiece back in his mouth. Shelton Benjamin, I don't know what they're doing with him. He was asked if Ziggler beats Reigns, that will prove it should be him. Shelton looked around the room, and it looked like he was watching a fly around the room again, smiled and walked away. Don't know what they're doing with Shelton Benjamin, but hopefully Eric Bischoff knows what to do with good old Senor Benjamin when he takes over SmackDown Live. Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. This was your main event, folks. This was your main event on SmackDown Live. I would be lying to you if I said I watched the match. I did. Remember when I said earlier that WWE tends to give you some doozies as far as the main event? I didn't mean that in a good way. I didn't mean that in an exciting way. WWE gives you these main events, and it's as if the match is speaking to you. Please don't watch me. That's exactly what I got here with Reigns and Dolph Ziggler. This couldn't be any more true about this type of main event. Ziggler, who's dead. Ziggler, who's a loser. And Roman Reigns, who is completely and utterly boring in the middle of the ring. That is a recipe for a main event that I will gladly skip out on. Now, clearly I went back on my DVR and watched the last minute and how everything unfolded. In my notes here, we had Ziggler on the outside. He was Superman punched. He got caught with a Superman punch. He then went for the spear, did Reigns. Ziggler rolled to the out, or Drew McIntyre rather, pulled Ziggler out. So Ziggler was yanked out by Drew McIntyre. Reigns then leapt over the top rope, did that big Superman dive over the top rope. And Ziggler then super kicked Reigns on the outside due to the interference. So then Shane entered the ring. Shane was on commentary. He entered the ring. He was taunting Roman Reigns. KO then came out of nowhere, jumped the barricade, gave Shane a stunner before exiting through the crowd. Reigns went back into the ring. Ziggler went for a zigzag because Reigns went after Shane. Ziggler went for a zigzag. Reigns held on to the ropes. Then he speared Ziggler for the win. And they went to the end credits, and that was it. They went to the very last seconds at that 10 o'clock hour to give you this ending. And I didn't really give a shit. Because what I stated in the beginning, folks, Kevin Owens, I want to be excited for him and the promo he cut. But clearly with the stunner on Shane McMahon, they're setting up Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon possibly for SummerSlam. And that's not something that I am going to stamp my approval on. I'm sorry. Shane McMahon needs something to do after The Undertaker and Reigns beat him and McIntyre on Sunday. What is that he's going to do? We got the answer in Kevin Owens tonight. Otherwise, WWE wouldn't have made a big deal about Kevin Owens going off in the way that he did. In the manner that he did, expressing what we all feel, only to not change it. It's only going to result in more Shane McMahon on television. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Triple upload killed me today. I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow for NXT. Social media, at JD from NY206, both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. And make sure you guys go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed this weekend. Slammiversary and Monday Night Raw uploads uploaded today. Go and check them out. And Off the Script if you missed it for the 4th of July holiday. If you were away and didn't get a chance to watch, everything you need is in the top right corner. That eye, drop it down, click it. Everything you need is right there. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here for NXT and Adam Cole's next stop on his championship celebration tour. See you guys then. Have a good night. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you right back here tomorrow for NXT.